These are the 5A notes on algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities. Algebraic expression. An algebraic expression is a variable, a number, or the combination of variables, numbers, and symbols. Some examples of expressions would be 3x, y, 0, 8, 2y minus 3, 3x squared minus 2x plus 4, and 2x plus 3y. Non-examples of expressions would be 2x equals 3, 2x plus 3y equals 5 plus y, 2y is less than 6, and 2 equals 9y. So with an expression, you don't see an equal sign or an inequality symbol anywhere. In the non-examples, as you can see, we have equal signs and inequality symbols. That means it's not an expression, it's something else. An equation is a statement formed when an equal sign is placed between two expressions. So if you take any two expressions and put an equal sign in between, it becomes an equation. Examples: 3x squared plus 2y minus 1 equals 6. Or 4y equals 2. Those are both equations. Non-examples: 4x squared minus 3x plus 4 minus 1 plus 3. 5 and m. These are not equations because they don't have equal signs. So it doesn't matter about the length of it, it just matters if it has an equal sign or not. Turn your notes to the next page. Inequality. An inequality is a statement formed when a greater than symbol, less than symbol, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to, is placed between two expressions. Examples of inequalities: x is less than 3, 3 is greater than or equal to y, 2x plus 3y is not equal to 5, 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 is greater than 6, y is less than or equal to 9. They all have inequality symbols in between the two expressions. Non-examples: 2x plus 3, that's just an expression. 3y squared plus y minus 1 equals 5, that's an equation, not an inequality. 12 and x. Variable. A variable is a symbol used to represent an unknown number, usually a letter. Examples of variables: x, pi, y, theta, that's another Greek symbol usually used to represent an angle, m. Non-examples: 2x squared, that has a variable in it, but that is actually an expression. 3y, again, it has a variable, but because of the 3, that makes it an expression. And 128, that's just a number. Now I'm going to show you how to evaluate algebraic expressions. You've probably done this before, but an important thing I want to point out is the way we are going to use parentheses. I want you to do this the same way that I am showing you because you'll get the right answer every single time if you do it this way. So the way I'm going to demonstrate is that you are always going to put parentheses wherever you see a variable or a letter. So anytime you see an A, B, C, or any other letter, you're going to put parentheses in that place. And then inside of the parentheses, you'll put whatever that letter or variable stands for. So wherever there's an A, you're going to put parentheses with a 5 in it because it says A equals 5. Wherever there's a B, you're going to put a 12 because it says B equals 12. And wherever you see a C, you'll put parentheses with a 2. And that's only for this question because it says that A is 5, B is 12, and C equals 2. So here's what I mean. For this exact question, as you can see, it looks exactly the same except wherever there's an A, I put 5 in parentheses, B, I put 12 in parentheses, the 2 is still there, and then C, I put a 2 inside the parentheses. Once you do this, you just have to use the order of operations to get your answer. So for the next step, we know that 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 5 plus 12 plus 4. Then you can get your answer, which is 21. If you put the parentheses around these, you can also type this in your calculator to check and make sure you use the order of operations correctly. So if you type this in exactly the way you see it here, you should find that you get the answer 21. Let's try number 2. So we have b squared minus 4a for part A. It says given a equals 5, b equals negative 12, and c equals 2, evaluate the following algebraic expressions. So I'm going to show you again. We have a b, so we're going to put parentheses with a negative 12, minus, and it's squared, minus 4 times a, and a is 5. So anywhere there was a b, we put a negative 12, and anywhere there was an a, we put a 5. So as you can see, this original question matches what I have here, except I plugged in the numbers for the variables. And then we'll use the order of operations. Negative 12 squared is the same thing as negative 12 times negative 12. Well, that's 144. 4 times 5 is 20. So then we just take 144 minus 20, and we get 124. You can check your answer by plugging this into your calculator exactly the way you see it, and you should get the answer 124. Let's try part B. We have ABC plus AB. In the place of A, B, and C, we're going to put 5, negative 12, and 2, as you can see right here. Then we have our plus sign, and we have A times B, which would be the same thing as 5 times negative 12, again, using the parentheses to plug them in. If we use the order of operations, we would multiply first on both sides. So 5 times negative 12 times 2 is negative 120, and 5 times negative 12 is negative 60. If we add those together, we get 180. And again, you could plug this entire thing in your calculator with those parentheses and you'd get the right answer. If you don't use the parentheses, you won't get the right answer every time. So you have to always use the parentheses when you're evaluating like this. Let's try number 3. It says given x equals negative 3, evaluate the following algebraic expressions. So in place of the x, we'll put parentheses with a negative 3 inside and put it squared on the outside. If we take negative 3 and square it, we get 9. We'll do the same thing for this question, but this time there's a negative sign in front of the variable. So we have to put a negative sign in front of our parentheses, and we still plug in a negative 3 inside. If we take the negative of negative 3 squared, we get negative 9. For part C, it says 3x squared. So we'll take 3 times negative 3, which is x, and square it. Negative 3 squared is 9, and 3 times 9 is 27. And for part D, we have, in parentheses, 3 times x, and that is squared. So we still have the original set of parentheses, and we have the x inside with its own set of parentheses, and we put a negative 3 inside because it says x equals negative 3. We square on the very outside of the parentheses. According to the order of operations, we're going to do what's inside of the parentheses first. So 3 times negative 3 would give us negative 9. And it's still going to be squared, which gives us an answer of 81. Question 4. Given s equals negative 11 and v equals 8, we're going to do part A, sv squared. That would look like this with the parentheses around it. Negative 11 times 8 squared. You have to do exponents first, so it would be negative 11 times 64 because 8 times 8 is 64. And negative 11 times 64 is negative 704. Now for part B, we have in parentheses SV squared. So it would look like this. We have the original set of parentheses plus our new ones for plugging in the variables. Negative 11 times 8, and all of that is squared. So we have to take negative 11 times 8 first, which is negative 88. And negative 88 squared is 7,744. Question 5 is going to be extra credit. So you can try A, B, C, and D and turn it into the bin when you're finished.